mira como un trompo, acelerado y pico, me siento medio tonto. Y mientras más te acercas, más nervioso me pongo. Si te pasas de fresca, juro que no respondo. Muévelo, muévelo. Mira como un trompo, acelerado y pico, me siento medio tonto. Y mientras más te acercas, más nervioso me pongo. Si te pasas de fresca, juro que no respondo. Muévelo, muévelo. Muévelo, muévelo. Muévelo, muévelo. Dale pa' arriba. Dale pa' abajo.
The world's best gather here. XBL baseball starts now.
It's crushed to the moon, and we're tied.
He picks it up on the second, over to first in time for the double play that ends the inning.
That's gone.
Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Trying to repeat.
It's good!
Homer to the pen! This game is over!
Oh! Crushed! Left field! Off the pole!
Domingo Bell, deep right center field, carrying, and it's gone! That one's hit hard. Left center field, did she do it again? To the wall!
Swung on Bell to the deep left field. Is this baby gone? A grand slam!
Champion! The AAA World Series is over! What a line shot!
I can't believe my eyes.
Season 18's end draws near. It's time for our AAA to take their final swings. Speedy, unorthodox, and oh so dominant is our first foe. This pitching phenom continues to rise above and now is eyeing gold. Facing them, a squad of versatile aces poised to bomb and bloom. This menace has arrived. The title is in their sights. The spotlight is on. Two titans stand armed for battle. It is Burning Ice and his Montreal Gex facing TeflonDonLemon and his Rio de Janeiro Flower Bombs. Welcome to the AAA World Series!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to yet another presentation here of the XBL AAA World Series. Tonight we have games 3 and 4 to be casted and hosted by myself and the glorious Sham. Sham, how are you this evening, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Mr. Glorious Lat?
Doing quite well. I was able to partake in, watching you and Dwayne kick off this AAA World Series yesterday evening. Some pretty great games. Tension. We got some home run balls, some good pitching, just kind of everything we expected, I would say, as far as everybody trying to kind of play the cards in their hand.
Yeah, those were two fun games. We saw both teams adapt to each other as the two games went on. Ice obviously deserved both wins. Teflon put on a good show. I think Teflon still has a great chance here, but Ice is showing just how versatile he's become both on the mound and at the plate. Small ball, big ball, throwing strikes, dropping curves at the top corner that nobody could possibly hit. He looks like he can do it all right now, and so I think tonight's going to be his chance to shine.
Yeah, he's definitely in a position to do so, and yeah, we're gonna see the Gex have a 2-game series lead here to start us out. It's not always as easy as you might think to play with the lead in a championship series. There's still the nerves and the spotlight that was highlighted in, yesterday's cast, really all the World Series. But that's just the nature of the environment here when you're at the final, mountaintop that you got to get to the peak of. How are you going to deal with the adversity, even if you have a game or 2 or sometimes 3 lead? Getting that final clinching victory is still a tall order. And we're going to have to see how Gex handles himself. And of course, on the flip side, as you mentioned, Teflon needing to dig deep here. This is the time. This is, all hands on deck. This is go time. Got to get something going offensively, which we saw glimpses of. And we saw some good pitching moments. If I recall correctly, I think in game 2, they're pitching quite a great game. And then there's just that one blow-up inning that really kind of took the train off its tracks. And so, they're going to go to the drawing board a little bit, maybe the scouting report, review some footage and say, hey, we, realized where we made some mistakes, see where we can make some improvements and, come back at it here in game 3.
Yeah, Teflon is here for a reason. He's resilient. He's shown that he, doesn't get down on himself and he's going to be able to come back, from any situation. So it's still definitely anybody's series. And I think that, just because Ice put on a pretty good show in the last 2 games doesn't mean that he's got these 2 locked up. He's going to have to put in a lot of work to get that trophy.
Yeah, absolutely. The keys to the game, I'll be honest, I know you guys had some keys last night, and I didn't really put any deep thought into the keys here because you guys did a good job. And a lot of the stuff at the surface level is just kind of obvious for those of us that have paid close attention to the league and the players this season. It's been a great, fun season, a lot of parity, and we have Gex and the Flower Bombs here in the final, so I think that just really kind of embodies some virtues that we've seen throughout the season. With that being said, I'm going to take a moment and just kind of dive into the stats a little bit, similar to how I did on a previous cast here. So just flashing some regular season stats here, of course, as I mentioned, the 2 and 4 seeds. Here's their regular season stats, but maybe a little more interesting now at this point is how did they play in a head-to-head setting. We have their regular season standings here, regular season head-to-head stats, where Ice did get the sweep, which may have been brought up in yesterday's cast, but that series was in some ways similar to the games we saw last night, where there's a 7-1 scoreline. and a 3-1 scoreline. So fairly close game, fairly a game with a little bit of a blow up. So pretty similar to what we saw yesterday there. Interesting of note though is to see those strikeouts over there. Both teams hovering between 8 and 9 in the regular season, and then in those games from yesterday, we got to see 11 and 9 strikeouts. So pretty similar and comparable to the head-to-head regular season matchup. Runs aren't really all that different either. So kind of a similar tale of the tape from the regular season to now. Of course, in the regular season, they played in week 2. So that was actually quite a while ago at this point. Since we are, I don't even know. If I had to guess, I'd say week 10. Does anyone have a counter going of where we are? That might not even be enough. We might be closer to 11 weeks at this point.
I think more than that.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, but at the end of this journey, we're going to have to see who is able to clinch the series here and etch their name into the glorious AAA trophy. We had yesterday's fellow boothmate and Dwayne winning season 15, myself the following, Snowbird last season, and all these other greats. We have, Ox, of course, back in season 13. So it's just a lot of fun to be a part of this league, and a lot of fun to have the honor of casting another World Series here. Happy to be here in the booth with you, Sham, and I think I'm about ready to dive into these games here. Anything that you would like us to keep an eye out for? Any words before we get the fireworks started?
I think all there is to say is play ball. Let's see it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good deal. Well, let's get the game set up here, folks, and we'll dive right into Game 3 coming at you.
Cool.
Alrighty, folks, here we go. Game 3 of the AAA World Series, Season 18, back here at the Stadium of the Flower Bombs. The glorious Parque Yardineros. We're going to see Funky pitch, lead us off here, the 3-pitcher for the Flower Bombs, and Lily Turtles, that pesky leadoff hitter here.
Funky. I like it. It's a good name. Yeah, Lily Turtles had a good night last night. Again, we saw a little more of a mix of small ball and the additional power that a lot of people aren't used to Burning Ice having when he was at bat last night. So looks like he's coming out swinging tonight. No early cheeky bunts, but you know that's going to happen at some point this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking a moment here just to make sure I get the ticker properly taken care of. Sorry, folks. Give me just a second. I don't want to lose the action, but we did see a line out there to the shortstop for the first out. We have a 2-2 count here. And a strikeout for out number 2, so I am still doing those little behind-the-scenes things here, Sham, if you don't mind to take just a second to take over here.
I'll just go ahead and talk through this. We got 2 outs here, top of the first. Fonky's up against Victor Meadows. 1-0 count. We see a breaking ball that's going to be hit deep to left field, but it looks like Periwinkle is underneath it for the 3rd out, and that's going to take us to the bottom of the 1st inning. Once again, we're seeing these streams from the viewpoint of the flower bombs. I'm curious if we'll see any more, and I bet we're going to see more of those takes where the reticle goes completely out of the zone. But right now we got a 1-2 count. And as usual, we see a lot of breaking balls from Burning Ice, and that's going to be the first out on a swinging strikeout here. We got Iris infielder up. Again, Burning Ice is attacking the top of the zone with those breaking balls, starting to mix in a little bit of those, a little bit of the four-seamers. We see a cutter outside. Again, this is another one of the trash family, trash 4 tonight.
The quadruplets, as they were, have made quite a name for their family here. Yeah, in the starting rotation for the Gex. There's a soft grounder to the second baseman, out number 2. And yeah, I think I got our ticker sorted here for the rest of the evening, so thought I had done that earlier, but thanks for bearing with me there. And you know, it was talked about a little bit by you and Dwayne yesterday, as well as many of the chat. Teflon's approach with moving that reticle out of the zone, you know, wanting to make sure that they're not tempted to swing at anything. We're seeing that again here tonight, as expected at this point. And we're seeing a rather patient approach at the plate in both games last night from Teflon. There was quite a few at-bats where we were seeing looking strikeouts even, being maybe too patient at times.
Yeah, patience does pay off against Burning Ice. I mean, eventually he will have to come into the zone if he's not hitting those curveballs at the top of the zone. Of course, last night he was. But yeah, patience definitely pays off, and that's a nice fastball for strike 3 there.
Yeah, nice.
But yeah, patience is not a bad idea against the Gex.
I would say the only sort of the double-edged sword component of that might be that the Gex are not relying on heavy stats in their starter, you know, so them getting tired may not be as detrimental as some other pitchers, but I still think it's a solid strategy to try to deal with, just so you can, as a batter, keep yourself in the right headspace for some a difficult pitcher such as Burning Ice.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the one thing you don't want to do, which we did see Teflon do last night, is let good pitches go. You know, every once in a while there'd be a breaking ball that clearly was hung up there to dry and dropped right into the middle of the zone, but because Teflon was taking all the way, didn't get a chance to capitalize on some of those opportunities. And if you really need especially in this kind of situation, you're in the World Series, you're playing against a good pitcher, I mean, you just can't let good pitches go like that. You got to punish them. Yeah,
I think we're going to see a steal attempt here. Steal is safe. There was a pickoff attempt earlier in this at bat, which was unsuccessful, so the count is 3-0. And after that steal, runner in scoring position. 4th pitch is ball 4 high. Runners now first and second. Great speed with that lead runner. And just to circle back on the point, I think we'll see, if I had to guess, I would say we will see a change in approach a little bit from Teflon as the game gets deeper into those later innings, if not sooner. But as it stands, we have one away here. Runners at first and second. Off speed, low in the zone. So that's going to be gotten under a bit too much. It's going to be deep to right field. The throw is not going to be strong enough to prevent that lead runner from advancing. So a small production there for out number 2 moves that lead runner to third base. Going to see Caden Evergreen now at the dish. They take ball 1 outside.
Yeah, the speed on third right now is really scary. I mean, any ball in play that is not a force out or a pop out is going to be a run for sure. But we've got, excuse me, we got a 3-1 count here. It looks like Teflon's having a little bit of trouble finding the zone, but now that quickly goes full with two two gone here, and let's see if he brings one in.
Oh, played that outfield shallow, and it pays off as the right fielder's there to make the catch. I don't think that they would have gotten there had it not been a shallow outfield, so great decision there from the Flower Bombs and get out of that inning with no damage done.
Yeah, absolutely. The shallow outfield is a strategy it looks like both teams are employing. It's kind of a bold move, especially now that we know both teams can swing for power, but when it pays off, it is very nice. That definitely prevented a run the last half inning.
So we see Teflon, as we talked about that patience, works this count full and earns themselves a walk, ball 4 inside. So leadoff walk here to start the second inning. It's going to bring up the 5-spot hitter. See if they can utilize their solid stats. I want to eyeball it. Oh, they're going to line out the second instead. Never mind. Looked like they had some solid stats to work with, but that at bat doesn't go their way. So one away now here as the center fielder for the Flower Bombs and Marigold Miracle steps at the plate. A curveball hung over the middle of the zone. Going to be flown out to center field. So 2 away now here after that leadoff walk. Periwinkle steps into the batter's box, has that low pitch trait to keep an eye out for. Swings at that first pitch, and that's a trademark curveball from Ice over the top of the zone. Kind of hard to deal with sometimes, and that turns into out number 3.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a case where we saw 3 pitches that were reticled pretty decently, but the timing was just way off on those breaking balls. There was, even on the power swings, almost no power on there. I think they were all below like 50 or 60 on the power meter, and that's just not enough to do any damage, and that's why we saw 3 pop-outs there, despite the decent reticles.
Yeah, it can be so hard to make that adjustment pitch by pitch from the fastball to the curveball, and you're kind of guessing sometimes, so Teflon's still kind of trying to find that balance here as he gets 2 quick outs in the top of the third. It's going to bring up Chelsea Evergreen for the Gex.
Yeah, that was one of those things that really troubled me when I was moving up into the mid-80s egos. Was before that, I didn't really even pay attention to breaking ball versus fastball. I just had the same swing every time, and it didn't really matter. But now it really does matter. You can't swing, especially if you're going to go for a power swing. You can't have the same timing on your swing and expect to do production on both fastballs and breaking balls. And that's going to be a great steal there. Again, we see great speed and great timing, and the Gex have a runner on second with 2 outs.
Yeah, they're looking to manufacture some offense here, get in scoring position. Teflon curious to see if Ice is going to test a stolen third base, as there was a pitch out there for ball 3. Count is now 3-1. Wild Thing activates. Thankfully, the catcher stays in front of it, although it is ball 4. So runners at first and second, both with incredible speed. A ball hit in the gap will likely score 2. We're going to see Axel Sawhorse have that off-speed hitter trait, and RBI Hero is procced. This is a dangerous, dangerous hitter to be pitching to for Teflon.
Yeah, I wonder if Teflon's thinking about just walking him.
Oh, it's weak contact, and it flares into center field. He saws it off, and Axel Sawhorse gets an RBI single, and with the heads-up base running, makes his way to second base. Incredible job there by the Gex to open the scoring here.
Yeah, and great awareness on the base pass. Axel does not have a lot of speed, but he saw the throw go to third and took advantage of it. That's a kind of mistake you can't make against the Gex. Burning Ice is one of the best base runners in the league, and he will take advantage of that errant throw every single time.
Wow, I'm surprised that Ice just took that pitch for ball or strike 2. He gets under this one, and he's gonna leave some runners on base as long as Miracles gets a hold of this one, and she does. So we do see first blood of Game 3 go in favor of the Gex, but they leave a pair of runners stranded. We go to the bottom of the third, and it's a leadoff single on the first pitch.
Yeah, look, I think that was a contact swing, which is not a bad idea. And once again, that was one of those pitches that just was left right in the middle of the zone that last night we saw Teflon letting go. But tonight, glad to see that he takes advantage of it. The shallow outfield may be able to catch this one. They do for the first out.
Yeah, plenty of speed on all these outfielders, and able to hedge their bets as they use that shallow outfield here in a deep park, as this one's hit on the ground to the shortstop Pickles, to Evergreen, all the way over to Sawhorse, turning that double play, getting out of that third inning. So the Gex trying to come back to pick up right where they left off. Unfortunately, they're going to be swinging at that first pitch. So we see that from both players in consecutive half innings now. And they, one of them was a single, of course, for the Flower Bombs this time. Doesn't go so productively for the Gex getting that first out. Going to see if the Gex can remain patient at the plate as they have most of this game so far. Teflon finds themselves ahead in the count now. And it'll be a single flared back up through the middle. So 1 out single with pretty good speed here on the base paths again.
Yeah, again, we're seeing a very prototypical matchup with the Gex and almost anybody else. Oh, that's going to be a double play. Very nice to end the 4th inning, the top of the 4th. But, you know, a lot of small ball. Nothing's being hit very deep. So far, Teflon's been pretty neutered at the plate, or snipped, or whatever the flower equivalent of being neutered is. Not many balls have gone very far. And we've seen the Gex manufacture some base runners. They have plated a run, but things could have been much, much worse. So all in all, not a bad start for either team.
Yeah, both teams still seems like they're warming up a little bit. The Red Eagles, as we've said and noted, they've been, you know, well placed for the most part. It's just sort of that timing of the power meter. We see a ground out to second there for the first out here in the 4th. This one left over the middle of the plate, and again, it's that timing. It was a great reticle, but it was hit just directly at that center fielder. If they would have had maybe an 85 or higher power rating, they could have turned that into a run, but it's going to be a quick inning there in the bottom of the 4th. I believe they go 1-2-3 for the Flower Bombs. Gex will lead us off here. They remain in the lead 1-0.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about Ice's curveballs versus mine. Like, I feel like I place mine in the quarter decently, but people crush them, and Ice has a way of just making people hit little dinky soft contacts for easy outs. But
there's a deep one hit.
That shallow outfield's not going to pay off here.
Absolutely.
Oh no,
that left fielder was playing shallow, and that's going to turn into extra bases. Enough speed to actually make their way all the way to third. It's a leadoff triple for the Gex here to start the 5th inning, and that is exactly the start they've been looking for, trying to find that one inning where they can really run the score up and throw a crooked number in.
Yeah, was that another pitcher triple? We saw a pitcher triple last night. I think that was a pitcher triple.
Yeah, I believe so. The lineup was turned over. This one's hit on the ground to first. The throw home, but it's the noodle arm. Disaster in the infield for the Flower Bombs, and they didn't have the 99 throw. It's going to result in an RBI single. Pitch out here, and a retreat. Cringe for most people out there. But the runner is safe back at first after the pitch out. We're going to see another pitch out. And I don't blame him. I would probably do the same thing if I was Teflon.
Yeah, I don't think it's that cringe. It's a skill to be able to get back.
Yeah, it's more of a joke. Oh, nice. He gets the caught stealing there, reducing the mojo of that runner. So first out of the 5th inning comes by the way of throwing out the runner. We're still in a 3-0 count here. Gonna have to throw it in the zone, and he does, but it's fouled away. Curveball is going to come in high in the zone. That is very hittable, and it is sent back up through the middle. Sneaking on the ground past the center fielder as they were also shallow. It's going to be extra bases again, so 2 extra base hits this inning for the Gex.
Going back to the run that the Gex plated, to be fair, I don't think even with a good throw, the first baseman would have had that out at home. I think that's a situation where you just need to take the out at first if you're not playing in, or if that ball isn't like rocketed and you can pick it up quickly.
Yeah, it might be have to watch it back. You can usually tell with the eye test if you would have been able to get him with a good arm, but most people, I would argue, don't even use a good arm on their first baseman at all. So yeah, I would say you probably need something like 50 to 60 arm to have a chance at making that play. There was high speed on the runner as this one is launched into left center field. The center fielder dives miracles with a great grab out there. Excuse me. But yeah, great athletic play out there from the center fielder.
Yeah, that was a great hit, great play by the center fielder there. You know, this deep park keeps that ball in. I think the dive was nice too, very well executed, and we have that runner at second.
This one's hit on a wind to the shortstop and easily dealt with. So after the top of the 5th, the Gex improve and increase their lead by another run. It's 2-0 here. Flower Bombs still looking to get something going. They've had a couple of hits sprinkled throughout this game. Not able to take advantage of anything yet here. Although this shallow outfield plays so well to these weak contacted hits, and that's going to be what would have normally been a leadoff single caught by that center fielder.
Yeah, that's tough. It's painful to see that happen, something that looks like it should easily drop in, but because the outfield is shallow, it is not a single.
Good speed here.
But can I just say...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, for these pitches where I see Teflon move the reticle out of the zone, uh-oh, that's going to backfire. It looks like that was a hit and run, but the ball is dropped, and both runners are safe instead of an inning double play. Yikes, Metalhead steps in to prevent the double play.
Yeah, that was a hit and run, as you noted, and it was the shortstop somehow that had to run over to get the ball to turn the double play, and they drop it down the transition, so everybody's safe. We have what's going to now be a 1-2 count with good speed on the base paths. A gapper is sure to score 1 and possibly 2. Good patience here from Teflon, and the 2-strike count. It's now 2-2. Make that full. Where does Ice come with this pitch? It's going to be high in the zone to the second baseman again. They'll have another chance at a double play, and it's turned successfully this time.
Yikes. That's tough. I mean, the kind of Deus Ex Machina there. We got the double play regardless. But that was a rough inning for both players there. I'm sure both players want that last at-bat or two to go very differently.
Yeah, it feels pretty hard done by for Teflon there. Some pretty solid reticles, but just was not meant to be, evidently, as they come out here firing with the strikeout for the first out here in the 6th. That was Jacques Pickles, of course, the shortstop, who dropped the first attempted double play and then redeemed themselves to end the inning. So we will carry on now here. First pitch is low to Vern Radical. Does have this power batter trait activated against this right-handed pitcher here. It's the reliever for the Flower Bombs, and Tim.
Yeah, I was going to say we saw a pitching change here. Tim Maya is in. A little bit more velo. A little bit more of a standard setup here. Dropping some curveballs in, but looks like that. Uh-oh, that is deep. That's gone.
The cover
what
is
a bomb.
torn off of this ball. A solo shot to deep right. 483. Incredible home run here from Radical.
Yeah, that's gone. I think if you put two ballparks back to back, that was an absolute monster from Vern Radical. 483. Yikes.
So the lead is extended to 3 now here as the Gex continue to find innings where they're getting 1 run. Count goes 2-1 here as they trying to find some more opportunities to send runs across the plate. This one should be caught though very routinely out there in center field. So it's 3-0 after 5.5 innings here. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th as Teflon is still searching for their first run of the game.
Yeah, it still feels like Teflon has these moments where they might have something going at the plate, and then that happens. Very soft contact for an unproductive out, which is tough to see. I hope they get a little bit more of a groove here, but they're not going to do it when they're swinging at garbage high and outside like that. I mean, at least decent power on the power swing, but that ball was nowhere near the zone.
Yeah, we see him, being very self-aware of that, although taking those 2 pitches no matter what, and they both were for strikes. Now pitch 3 is a ball outside. He's going to have to be competitive at the plate here. That one was outside the zone. It's down the first base line, caught cleanly by the first baseman, tossed over to the pitcher for the 3rd and final out. So we are 6 scoreless for the Flower Bombs here as they come back out defensively and earn a 1-pitch out to start the 7th.
Yeah, it seems like Teflon isn't quite in the zone there at the plate, but that is something that Ice is known to do to you. It's not really your fault. It is, Ice has got great pitching, and those off-speed pitches are keeping you on your toes, and you just can't quite get the timing down. So, reticled or not, you're not really in a good position, but looks like Ice is going to weakly hit that one too for the second out.
Yeah, Teflon, you can see him really turning the pace up here pitching-wise in that last at-bat. That was pretty much no time wasted at all between pitches, resulting in 2 quick strikes and then a weak ground out on a pitch below the zone. We're going to see a massive change in speed, and that third baseman playing in for a potential bunt has to have very quick hands to catch a hot line drive there at the hot corner. So going to end the top of the 7th, a quick stretch, and swinging at that first pitch. See a bit more patience here now from Teflon. It's a 3-spot hitter entering do-or-die territory here. A nice single back up through the middle. It's a leadoff hit, and that is exactly what they need here late in at this point in the game.
Yeah, just getting runners on. Tresh 4's locked in, so anything you can do to knock him down a notch and get to Dude Zavala, who we all know is waiting. And we have a steal here. That's a great jump, and we're not even going to see a throw. So the Flower Bombs have a runner on second with nobody out. This is a great chance for Teflon to put some numbers on the board.
Yeah, and it's also a great point to, just realize that you need to chip away at the lead. You don't need to score 3 runs all at once, and there's a nice single to move that runner over as well. So runners at the corners here, nobody out, and the 5-spot hitter, What Incarnation, has that clutch trade activated. Very juicy hitter stats here as Ice looks to go to the pen. It's Dude Zavala, rally stopper, elite 4-seamer. We all know the song and dance at this point. Cutter inside on the hands, but it's fouled away. Outfield is playing shallow.
A casual triple digits fastball.
Yeah,
no big deal.
No big deal. Exactly. See the 4th pitch high above the zone. Triple digit fastball for ball 3, and then comes back with it lower in the zone, catches the zone for a strikeout. So 1 away now with those runners on the corners. Bad ball hitter at the plate. Marigold Miracles made that athletic catch earlier in the game. They need her to come up clutch here in the 7th. The big spot. Runners in scoring position. Pressure meter activated. Works her way into a 3-1 count now. Zavala with the fastball. It's sent past that diving first baseman. That's going to score a run and move the trail runner to second base. It's 3-1 now.
Yeah, I feel like Dude Zavala's velocity is working in Teflon's favor. He's probably, he can probably time those, more normal fastballs much better than the off-speed pitches, and we're seeing it pay off here. Not 2 hard-hit balls, but 2 balls hit well enough to score a run, and now we have bases loaded with 1 out. But yeah, I think if I'm Ice, I'm thinking,
this one's hit to the gap, and the right fielder misses it on the dive. They're too aggressive in their line. This is going to be a bases clearing triple here for the Flower Bombs as they take the lead in the 7th.
Oh my, nobody called that one. That was an unfortunate dive. It looked like that dive was in the wrong direction, though I don't know if it would have worked anyway. And that's going to be the 5th run put up by the Flower Bombs this inning. A little bit of a disaster. I think that velocity on Dude Zavala is really working against him, because either that or the Metalhead Gods have decided that these hits need to land after enough bad contact for Teflon.
Yeah, what an inning it's been here for the Flower Bombs. Just as Ice did in Game 2, it's now the Flower Bombs' turn in Game 3 as we nearly see a 9-3 putout. They're still safe. It's a 2-out single for the Flower Bombs, but yeah, they're working on their 5th run scored so far this inning and of the game. Now quickly in an 0-2 count. Takes that one low and away. Swings and misses on the high velo, so the inning comes to a close. Flower Bombs find themselves on top with the 2-run cushion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dude Zavala's stats dropping at the end of the inning actually helps out Ice, but that is well after the damage had already been done. But clearly Teflon's having a hard time with that low velo, getting soft contact. I mean, none of those balls were hit particularly well, but they all were hit hard enough to get past the infielders and score runs. So this is a totally different game now. Teflon's pitching with the lead for, I think, the 2nd time this series. He, I believe, had a lead briefly last night. So let's see if he changes his approach at all. But it looks like he's definitely attacking the zone with a 1-2 count and 1 out here in the top of the 8th inning.
Yeah, not afraid to attack the zone. Does have that K-Neglector trait, which I don't know is going to be super advantageous, but it still continues to work here. There's 2 outs now. Jacques Pickles steps into the batter's box. Swings at the first pitch, way too aggressive in their approach, and that's going to be the 3rd out of the 8th inning for the top half, as we now see the Flower Bombs enter the heart of their order, looking for any kind of insurance runs late in this ball game of I can't even think of a word to summarize how it's been so far. It hasn't really been back and forth. It hasn't really been totally one-sided. I mean, it's just very similar to Game 2, where we saw the Gex explode, and now it's the Flower Bomb's turn as this one's lifted into center field, and Lily Turtles will be sure to grab that.
Yeah, this almost feels like the fence has been pulled in, right? Like, except for Vern Radical's 483-foot absolute monster of a home run, that ICBM he sent out to center field. Everything else has been really soft, really weakly hit, just like that one for the 3rd out. So it's, it's been a game of soft contact, but there was enough of it in a row, and it worked out well enough for Teflon to have a 5-3 lead here. So he's got 3 outs here to lock it down and move on to Game 4 with a 2-1 series score so far.
Yeah,
but I shouldn't count any chickens before they hatch, because casters are known for cursing everything they talk about, right?
Yeah, we don't want to do that. We'll focus on the game at hand here. 2-2 count. Outside pitch, trait activated, but not enough power, as that one is caught in right field for the 1st out. We're at the 7th spot hitter. It's going to have to be small ball and, more contact than power to try to get on base here, as the count goes even on Harley Hardapple. As they have that sprinter trait, they're hoping to potentially get a bunt. We have not seen a bunt yet from Ice this game. We know that he's known for that. He swings and sends this one to deep left field. It's not going to reach the warning track, and that shallow outfield is able to get back in time. So 2 away here, staring down their final out, are the Gex, trailing by 2 runs. Mind Gamer and Clutcher activated. This one's back up through the middle. It's a 2-out single. Tying run is now at the plate. We're sure to see a pinch hitter for Dude Zavala.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, this is a situation you can't leave your pitcher in. We've got really great contact here with Dakota Kaiser, not somebody you see very often on the Gex.
Bit of a dangerous pickoff attempt. There's a chance the RNG goes against you and it's a wild throw. I don't think you need to be worried about the runner here. I think you need to just attack this batter. Don't let the lineup turn over, because that would be treacherous to deal with. This one, good contact, but just a bit late on it. Sends it foul, and it's a strikeout. Fastball up in the zone, catches it for out number 3. Flower Bombs earn a notch on their belt. It's a 2-1 series now.
Wow, great pitching there to end the game with a backwards K. That high fastball worked in Teflon's favor. That was a great comeback victory. They weren't really moving the needle very much most of that game, but all it took was a 5-run, was that 6th or 7th inning? And that was enough to put them over the edge. So great game by the Flower Bombs. I mean, they didn't do much damage, in terms of hitting the long ball, but they did make the small ball work for them and got enough hits to take this victory, which is awesome.
Yeah, they got enough to get the job done and at least extend the series to a minimum of 5 games now in our best of 7 World Series here. So give us just a moment here, folks. We'll turn over into Game 4 and get the rest of this action sorted for you.
All right, cool.
Apologies, folks. Let me make sure I get things sorted properly here as we have yet another.
Looks like the video is below the ticker.
Yep. Alrighty. Apologies for the technical delay there, but we're going to be kicking off Game 4 back here at Soccer Hills, home of the Gex. It's a first pitch swinging leadoff single for Teflon and his Flower Bombs, as they are hot off a victory in Game 3. It's now a 2-1 series.
Yeah, that was a fun game. Really enjoyed seeing the back and forth, seeing Teflon come back and win. And so we're not going to see a World Series champ crowned tonight, but we are going to see a double. Oh, excuse me. I think I might be ahead of you.
Okay. I'll let you take a second to get synced up here, but we do have runners at first and second, nobody out. It's a soft grounder to short, and they're going to successfully turn the double play here. So 2 outs now. That's up, but the first runner did advance to third. Outfield is shallow, and a wild swing on the first pitch here from Dahlia Dingers. Really antsy to try to get this run across the plate and get the scoring started early. You know, the Flower Bombs had a big inning in the last game as this one's hit to left field, but it's not hard enough as Hard Apple is able to track it down. Gex and Burning Ice dance their way out of a dicey first inning there.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse, but they ended up not doing any damage. And once again, we see the light green versus the dark green here in Sakura. It looks like the Flower Bombs belong here with the Japanese on their jerseys, which you'll love to see. That's a really cool touch. So looks like the Gex have a runner on first with a lot of speed, and probably they will be stealing. That's a pretty good prediction.
Yeah, I think that's just kind of what they're known for. We're going to see yet another pitch out and a steal attempt, and this time Teflon wises up and throws it to first. Great job of waiting and expecting the runner to retreat, as Gex has done every single time on those pitch outs. So they were able to remove that runner, as there's a, on the next pitch, a single back up through the middle. I think they were playing the bunt defense to kind of opened up the middle infield more. Not sure really would have mattered, but it's a single nonetheless. So we now have a runner again on first. There's 1 out, and Victor Meadows is at the plate here. Got to watch out for the power versus lefties trait that's active, as well as the high pitch. This is a wild reticle, and it's over the heart of the plate, but not swung on by Gex. Count goes 2-2. Another pitch out will take this count full. This elite curveball thrower, Samba Strikes, is going to go with another pickoff attempt. Unsuccessful. That's 2 out of 3 for this at bat. Comes with the fastball. Hit right to the first baseman, but that's only going to be for the second out. Not quite sure they would have had the play at second, so I think that's wise to hold on to the ball and just, you know, take your medicine there for out number 2. Runner at second.
Yeah, great playing there.
Oh, yeah, no, go ahead.
No, I think
I figured
totally,
you were trying to get synced back up.
I lost sync with at the end of the game. Let me know when you see the third out for the inning.
Yeah, we're on the second pitch now of the top of the second.
All right, almost there.
Hard hit ball to the first baseman, diving play, and able to take it themselves to the bag for out number 1 here. We're going to see Marigold Miracle step in. First pitch, curveball left over the zone. Sent deep to center field, but shy of that warning track for out number 2. So 2 quick outs now for the Flower Bombs here. Gex are going to be playing that outfield shallow yet again, as we've seen so often throughout the series. And 2 quick strikes. Teflon opting to not even keep the reticle in the zone. Does the same for the third pitch. It looks like they're going to do the same on the fourth pitch, which is paying off to some regard. It's now 2-2. Take ball 3 well high. Activates walk prone. Curveball right over the middle, but directly to the shallow center fielder who is lurking and waiting for that play. So 3 outs. It's a 1-2-3 inning. Go to the bottom of the second now. Jacques Pickle swings at the first pitch. Seeing a lot more a good amount of aggression from both players here in the first pitch of these at-bats.
Yeah, it still feels a little bit like a continuation of the last game here.
Absolutely.
We've only really seen, some weak contact. I mean, decent fly balls, but nothing really that dangerous so far. I do like seeing a little bit more aggression on both their parts, but I suspect that's more of a temporary thing, as both teams will probably settle down here and move into a little bit more of what we saw last game, which is a lot of patience at the plate.
This one's hit deep to left field. Gonna have to take a couple steps back, but Periwinkle is able to make the grab. For a moment, thought that might have been hit hard enough to go over their heads, but turns into the second out of the second inning here. We're gonna see Harley Hardapple look at a 2-0 count, now taking a 100-mile-an-hour fastball in the zone. Count goes 2-1. Exact same pitch for strike number 2 now. Bites off a fastball, low and inside corner, had to defend the zone, and it's lined out to the shortstop. We are at 0 runs through the first 2 innings.
Yeah, I appreciate the way that Teflon's... Oh, that's a great dive by there by Chelsea Evergreen for the first out. But I appreciate the way that Teflon on the mound is, coming in hot and fast with those pitches, and all of them so far have been pretty pinpoint accuracy, hitting those corners, and as a result, the Gex haven't really been able to do much with anything despite making decent reticles.
See the pitcher at the dish here. Count goes 2-2, so at least making the other pitcher have to work a little bit. They do look for strike number 3 there. That'll be the second out here at the top of the third. Turns the lineup over. Cherry Blossoms sees a curveball, hard of the plate, top of the zone right there. But again, the third out to end the inning is hit right to Lily Turtles. And we will see the 8, 9, and 1 spots now here for the Gex.
Yeah, those shallow outfielders don't feel that shallow when they are as fast as they are. I mean, they can, despite being in short, as we see Teflon move his outfield in shallow, despite being in pretty shallow, I mean, they can run out there and make catches regardless. So, well done on both defenses so far for neutering the other team. And that's going to be a great bunt, but it's going to be 1 out, a productive out, though, as the runner moves up to second base.
Yeah, nice job from the pitcher to advance the runner. A swinging bunt, if you will, as this one's hit softly to the second baseman just by half a step or less. Throws that runner out at first. Of course, the lead runner does advance now to third base. There's 2 outs. Chelsea Evergreen, the bunter sprinter, the prototype bunter, if you will, for the Gex here. See if they will look to bunt. Not yet. First pitch is a strike up in the zone. Now an even count with the low curveball, missing the zone completely. Gex are hunting for this run to be scored as they're going to watch strike 3, a great 2-seamer on the outside corner, and Teflon dances their way out of a bit of a dicey moment.
Yeah, excellent pitching. Teflon is really putting on a show here. That's going to be deep. The shallow outfield is going to be punished here. That could be a triple for the Flower Bombs. Great piece of hitting there by Teflon.
Yeah, probably the best reticled hit of this game. Especially for Teflon. It's a leadoff double. We love to see those extra bases on those leadoff hits. We're going to see the 3-spot hitter who is known to crank some baseballs. Maybe not in this series so far, but definitely during the regular season. This is a coveted hitter for the Flower Bombs as they earn a walk. So there's now nobody out. Runners at first and second. The 4-spot, Dahlia Dingers has that RBI hero activated. Some very, very high-octane hitting stats as Dude Zavala now enters, so it's high-octane on both sides of the ball here. Spicy at bat as the count is 1-1. Let's see a curveball hit down that third base line. That's going to be fair, and we're going to see the first run of the game for the Flower Bomb scored. The ball comes into the third baseman and actually gets the runner out. Trail runner ends up at second base, so we do see the lead go in the Flower Bomb's favor here.
Yeah, that was an aggressive send to third base. You never want to make the first or third out of the inning at third base, I believe is the rule.
Oh, my.
Oh, we see a steal attempt. Oh, no, ball goes to the wrong bag.
That is...
Yikes.
Yeah, what is happening?
Yikes. Ice needs to collect himself here after...
Could have been a butt slip, I guess. I know I've done that myself, so... Not quite
It is
sure.
possible. Yeah, I've done much worse.
We're going to see another sort of swinging bunt, soft grounder to the second baseman, but it scores that second run, the runner that was at third. And so it's a 2-run inning here for the Flower Bombs. The final out is hit to that third baseman on a grounder. And 4 hits, 2 runs. Flower Bombs have a lead here yet again in the series, or in this game, another game in the series is what I mean. It's 2-0 here as we enter the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, very good. I'm going to do some quick chat shout-outs. Mystery Man, those are terrible puns. Just terrible. But thanks for coming. Meg, thank you. Snowbird, Meg Snowbird, thank you. Uni, Smiles, who I believe is Simon. Easy, Ox, Spaceman, Julio, Kawashi, Spliff. We appreciate everybody. Comment Dark Raider, I saw you at the beginning supporting your Canadian counterparts here. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight and joining us for these fun games in the AAA World Series.
Yeah, thank you to everybody out there, and hope you guys stick around as this series continues here. We are, of course, in Game 4, and especially due to the fancy ticker there created by mostly Sham and maybe partly Spaceman. You guys have all those juicy stats to refer to throughout the game and the series score, of course. We're going to see Jacques Pickles now enter the box. Tying run is at the plate, and Jacques Pickles is really not hitting well in this series at all, which is so surprising as they're a bad ball hitter. They have clutch. I'm not really sure what the issue is for Jacques this series, but they really need to get it going for their team here. This is a potentially big moment in the game. Runner on first, work to count full now. And we see Samba Strikes entering their 53rd pitch. Their stats are starting to wane as they allow a single there with 1 out. So runners now at first and second. Vern Radical hit that 483-foot nuke in the previous game. And he would give the Gex the lead if he could replicate that here in this at-bat.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that with Jacques, I've done that with some of my best hitters. I see them come up and I see their stats. I'm like, oh yeah, I got to make this count. And then, you get too aggressive and swing at garbage and
yeah.
Don't make it count. So I think we've all been there.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. I've done that more times than I can count. As this account is full, it's a strikeout and a double steal all at the same time. Chaotic moment, a lot going on there, but both steals were successful. So 2 away now with runners on second and third. The tying run, of course, is in scoring position here as the weak-powered Harley Hardapple is looking to do something for their team. The count goes 3-0. Teflon is going to nail that outside corner with a nice fastball. See if the sprinter trade is coming into effect here. The ball's hit over the jumping second baseman. We're going to see an aggressive send here to the plate, and it's the tying run scoring. Harley Hardapple with their speed advancing to second base. It's a very dicey moment now for the Flower Bombs.
Yikes, yeah.
The center field, it's over the center fielder's head, and they can't get to it as they attempt to dive. This ball goes all the way to the wall. It's an RBI triple. The Gex now have themselves a large inning and take the lead.
Wow, this is all happening so fast. I had some comments there, but they're already out of date. I mean, we see the quick pitching by Teflon kind of working against him here. He's still hitting his spots pretty well, but it looks like the Gex have been able to get that timing down. We see 2 really great hits to go ahead 3-2 here in the, well, that was in the bottom of the 4th inning. But yeah, great hitting.
This one left over the top of the zone. It's Tomahawk to the diving third baseman, and they get a mojo boost for that nice defensive play over there, earning the first out in the top of the 5th. Yeah, there was a lot going on, not much time to breathe in between moments, as this one's hit right back into the glove of the pitcher. That could have been an injury or a single. Instead, it's the second out now.
Just self-defense.
Yeah, he threw his glove out there, and what do you know? Hey, it made it its way into the glove. And it's a bit of a quick inning here. They go 1-2-3 in the 5th for the Flower Bombs. Gex looks to pick up where they left off there in that bit of a firecracker 4th inning for them as they took the lead, and the lineup is now turned over here. It's Lily Turtles at the dish.
Yeah, that was another weak pop out. The power meter, I think, was only 52, maybe 53, and that's just not enough to do anything, especially in a ballpark with deep fences like this. But hey, We see Mr. Strikes get up there and get a quick strikeout with that great high fastball to get the first out in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, I think the fast-paced pitching by Teflon was working towards the end of Game 3, and it's worked in a lot of moments here in Game 4. Not really sure if there's any one thing I could say. Maybe, I don't know if the pitches were like that wildly mislocated for the runs that we saw scored in the 4th inning, but it does seem like there's been more strikeouts induced by the fast pace approach. So wonder if they've picked up on that, and that's why they're continuing to do it here. We see a 2-out single, so runner on first and a steal attempt. Certainly going to have enough speed. They do successfully take that bag and get a mojo boost to boot. So RBI hero is now procced for Axel Sawhorse at the plate, who has themselves a 3-0 count. Curveball sneaks its way for a strike in the top corner. Off-speed hitter trade active as well. It's a fastball laced back through the middle.
Oh, no.
And a jumping second baseman, I suppose, didn't need to jump. And that ball goes right through the player. And it's an RBI single with 2 outs here for the Gicks.
I don't know what that was. I mean, that looked like it should have been caught regardless. That was just unfortunate here. I mean, both teams are playing with fire. They're both betting the other person's going to make soft contact. We see a lot of outfields being brought in, not a lot of hard hits, but every once in a while when you're pulling in your outfield and, throwing fastballs, something terrible happens. And we see a steal with 3 balls, but it's not going to matter because that's going to be a walk. And this 5th inning continues for the Gex as they look to put on another run with runners on first and second.
Yeah, we see Seo George come in now. I think this is a moment where Teflon really wants to maybe take a breath and just collect themselves, not really let the game get away from them here. It's still just a 2-run deficit, and they are going to be bailed out by a poor swing there. Ball well below the zone and an 0-2 count, and that'll end the inning, so damage is stopped. It's a 2-run deficit, as I said. Flower Bomb still well within reach for this game.
Yeah, I think more than last game, this feels like it could be either person's game. I mean, they almost look like mirror images of each other the way that they're playing right now. Both really not doing a whole lot of hard hitting, but they have been showing some prowess on the mound. It's just that more hits have gone the Gex way than the Flower Bombs. And, of course, as I say that, Teflon gets a nice single with a hard hit ball up the left side. We got a runner on first with nobody out.
Yeah, a bit of both teams are kind of having their lightning in a bottle moments, or they have the occasional just ball nuked. They've had their fair share of those moments here in the series, but as you said, it's a leadoff single with very solid speed. Nobody out. Irish infielder has that inside pitch. He's not going to get one to hit. It's actually hit hard to the shortstop, and they're going to turn 2, beating out the speed of the runner from first base. Just was not quick enough, so a double play. We'll see Tulips swinging at the first pitch, and that was one to hit. They made pretty decent contact. Yet again, it goes right to the Lily Turtles to end the inning.
Yep, that's what happens. I feel like we've seen a lot of that this game. A couple hits, a couple balls put in play, and then a couple pop outs, one after another. But the hour is getting a little bit late for the Flower Bombs. They need to hold the Gex here, and that's going to be a nice second out. But they need to hold the Gex and get a couple runners across. Otherwise, I think tonight's going to end with a 3-1 deficit. But there's still a lot of game to go.
Yeah, we're in the bottom of the 6th now, 2 away. Dude Zavala is going to stay into bat here. I don't know exactly how many pitches they're at yet for the game, but we're about to find out as this one is skied up to the pitcher and should be the 3rd and final out of the 6th inning. We go now to the top of the 7th. It's the 4-spot hitter Dahlia Dingers leading off for the Flower Bombs. And Dude Zavala's stats are going to start waning more and more as we're reaching that 30th pitch here coming up right now on this 0-2 count.
Yeah, and that works in Burning Ice's favor. I think the lower velocity is going to induce even weaker contact. Clearly, low velocity is working right now, so I don't think Dude Zavala is going to be going anywhere.
This one left over the heart of the plate, just super dangerous as it makes its way back to the track. Just not quite enough power. Need to eat their Wheaties to get that one over the fences. This one, though, is connected well. That'll fall for a base hit. So it's a 2-out single for the Flower Bombs now in the top of the 7th, chasing a 2-run deficit. Perry Winkle steps in. I still feel it feels like the this will be lined out to the shortstop to end the inning, but I was going to say it feels like another moment of just needing to chip away. You don't need to swing for the fences necessarily. You know, runs matter all the same. They're all scored one apiece, so if you're able to just play a little small ball or hit balls into the gaps, I feel like that might be in the Flower Bombs' future here. But we're going to see a quick out to start the bottom of the 7th now. Gex continues to swing and sends one deep back to the wall of the left center field area as that center fielder was playing shallow yet again. It's a 1-out triple here for the Gex.
Yikes. Uh-oh, and then the ball gets away, just insult to injury with the mojo drop for Stu Horge. Oh, great bunt.
Wow,
Only
the power
plays at
hitter.
first.
He had so many juice stats. And on the first pitch, it's a sacrifice bunt to extend their lead 5-2. That's Gex baseball right there.
Yeah, absolutely. You never know when that bunt is coming. But the shallow outfield does not work this inning. I mean, it is a gamble, as we were saying. Sometimes it's a great idea. Sometimes it doesn't really work out that well. But in this case, it did lead to a Gex run. But the Flower Bombs are up and are going to swing into a quick out here. We're going to see a pinch hitter come in. Looks like it's going to be Mokeka Muka, I believe is how you would pronounce that.
They've got a pinch perfect
deep.
trade activated. This is going to be
That's
first
gone.
pitch home run over the left field wall. An absolute mistake pitch. Finally connected perfectly. And that'll be now a 5-3 ball game. Flower Bombs starting to strike back.
Yeah, great swing. Finally able to put one over. Lindsay Island's got a little bit more velo than what Dude Zavala left with. And the Flower Bombs punish it. So they're still very much in this game. That's going to be a hard hit ball, but caught by the diving Victor Meadows in right field for the second out. That's unfortunate. I think that was a normal outfield position too, not even shallow.
Yeah, I don't think there's any special alignment, and a great play, diving play by Jacques Pickles with an absolute monster throw. The 90-plus arm there at shortstop pays off to beat the speedy runner for the third out. So Gex come back to the plate, and it's only a 2-run lead now. They're going to look for any kind of insurance they can here late in this ball game.
Yeah, that was an amazing play there at short by Jacques. Uh-oh, that ball gets away from the first baseman. But that was a tough dive. Normally you don't make that, but that was a perfect throw, and I think he does have pretty ridiculous defensive stats and was able to make the play. So well done by the Gex to get the third out.
Yeah, and you can see the catcher arm is just not statted enough to prevent some of these steals. It's a successful steal here for the Gex, so no outs. After that leadoff single and a stolen base, the runner's now at second. It's a 2-1 count. Fastball up and away in the zone. Missed on. 2-2. Off speed, low and away, just misses the zone. We go with the full count here. Pickoff attempt. Nothing doing there at second base. The closer, Ellis Regina, is going to have to come to the batter. No, they actually go back for another pickoff. That's the second one in a row. And another disengagement would be a free base to the runner. They're going to go with the off speed over the middle of the plate.
Oh,
and
no.
It's absolutely nuked
Oh,
yet
my.
again. The Gex with another home run. This time it's a 2-run shot.
Again, Vern Radical just showing off the missile silo that he's got stashed away, just sending absolute nukes to center field. That one was, what, 453? Those are two huge runs here late in Game 4. Put the Gex ahead 7-3. Great hitting there. I think Teflon might need to reevaluate the pitch sequences here because clearly the Gex have that one timed down.
Yeah, we're going to now finally see the first out of the 8th inning here. It's a grounder to short. And that was, I believe, on a curveball low in the zone. So we see that pitch yet again, but this time it's sent back up through the middle for a single.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, those low curveballs, it looks like Gex can do just enough with it to get on base. I mean, we see where those pitches were located. Not located in a place where they're super dangerous, but they do end up singles. Or they did end up a single, so we have a runner on first.
And Lindsay Island opts to stay in the game, and she'll strike out looking for out number 2. Lineup has turned over. Lily Turtles is tense. Swings on a first pitch. Ball above the zone. It goes foul and watches for strike 2. Quickly 0-2. Runner is stealing on a ball outside. That's going to be a successful steal yet again. Ice trying to manufacture as many runs as he can. Swings at one well below the zone. It goes foul. Runner goes back. We do it all again. Fastball swung on and missed. Strikeout to end the inning. And the Flower Bombs have to chase 4 runs to keep this game alive.
Yeah, they can do it, though. They're not here for no reason. They're here because they're a great team, and they've got that comeback potential that we've seen happen in the past. We've seen them capitalize on in the past. So, runner, ball gets away, so the runner takes a free base. Why not? Thank you very much. And so we've got runner in scoring position with nobody out here to start the top of the 9th inning.
Yeah, the runner is not super important. What is more important in this at-bat is it's now triggered the RBI hero trait. So these stats are juiced with the juice power meter. As this ball is sent back through the middle, it's going to be a single here. Runners at the corners now. And Ice playing with fire in the 9th inning as we get to the 5-spot hitter for the Flower Bombs. It's What Incarnation. He's tense, but he's clutch. Can he come up clutch here in a big moment as he takes strike 1? Dealing with Lindsay Island, her waning stats and her tense mojo starting to matter more and more. Teflon watches strike 2. Chases a ball outside the zone. It's hit to the third baseman, and Gex wisely turned the double play. Not interested in trying to throw that ball home. That run doesn't matter. We want those outs, and we see those 2 outs earned. This ball is hit hard past the diving shortstop, so it's a 2-out single now. Gex 1 out away from clinching a 3-1 series scoreline.
Yeah, we see the pressure meter is juiced 4 bars.
Just a hair late.
0-2 count.
Periwinkle 0-2. Lindsay Island looking for a chase pitch. It goes wide. It's 1-2 now. This one is chased. It's going to hang up for Jacques, and that'll be it. Out number 3 taken down. Gex earn themselves a 3rd series victory here.
Yeah, great games. That was a ton of fun to watch. Both teams did a great job. I think we saw a lot of great hitting. We saw a lot of great pitching. Just always a pleasure seeing these two go at it here. I'm glad the World Series didn't end tonight. I was worried, this was going to end pretty quickly, but Teflon's not going out without a fight here. We're going to see Game 5 and possibly Game 6 next time we all meet. But great pitching on both parts. I think that was really the star of the show. I don't know about you, but what you think, Zlat. But my takeaway here is shallow outfields are a gamble, but they mostly pay off. And pitching is king in this series.
Yeah, I think the pitching is kind of what I expected. I was, just for the sake of as a viewer, I was kind of pleasantly surprised to see Teflon make the proper adjustment. I don't know, surprised isn't really the word I was going for there, but I was just happy to see Teflon make the adjustment pitching-wise to kind of increase their pacing and kind of keep the Gex off speed, their timing off at certain times, and so that was working in moments, but then it was also kind of working against them, as you pointed out throughout the game, where some of those singles were, the Gex anticipating a first pitch in a certain spot, and they were getting it, shooting those balls past the infielders for singles. So, some bombs by the Gex there. Games 3 and 4, some 450+ foot homers hit. That's not easy to deal with for the Flower Bombs. They did get a home run themselves there in Game 4, but the bombs are coming out for the Gex more so than the actual Flower Bomb. So it's going to be a little bit more BP in practice, some hitting cage time, I think, for the Flower Bombs to try to get their bats really going here, as their backs are now fully to the wall as the series count is 3-1. So, really going to need to dig deep, go back and review whatever footage you got to do, whatever BP you got to do, just find a way to kind of claw your way back into contention for the series.
Yeah, in this kind of situation, what I like to do is I will go look at the other team's pitchers and look at what their stats and arsenal is, and I'll just go make them in the game and just scrim against their pitchers for an extended period of time until I think I have the timing down. So there are no surprises when the game starts. I hope Teflon's doing that to keep this close. I mean, I'm not really going for either team here, but I'm rooting for his bats to get a little bit hotter. It looks like they've been a little softer than usual here, and this has been a really fun series so far. I don't want to see it go out without Teflon showing everybody what he can do at the plate.
Yeah, I'm not sure we haven't been able to see that peak Teflon moment yet. We know the potential, we know that the firepower is there, so let's not forget, we alluded to how many weeks have transpired since the start of the season, and there's a bit of the conversation of rust going into this series. As we know, Black Coffee and Ice were having some technical issues. They thankfully were able to get those resolved. But that came after a few weeks of Teflon series being in the books against Eddie. And so there's a small factor of sorts to think about when it comes to not playing for that long. But that's all water under the bridge now. We're here. The World Series games are being played. It's 3-1. We're going to have to see how they can rally themselves and try to fight their way back. And kudos to Gex, of course. They've stuck to their game plan. It's been working. They continue to make those small detailed decisions and execute the right kind of plays in the right moments, and that's exactly why they've earned themselves a series lead so far.
Yeah, absolutely. You said it. I don't have too much else to say there. The Gex executed their game well. They hit when they needed to hit. They got some great bunts. They surprised us at the end. We all knew the bunts were coming, but it took a little bit of time to see the cheeky bunt put them over the edge there in Game 4. And I'm excited to see what happens in Game 5.
Yeah, Games 5 and potentially 6 and or 7 will be casted as soon as we're able to get those out to you guys. Of course, we still have the XBL World Series to wrap up, so keep an eye out in the show announcements channel for when we can bring that over to you, as Uni was unable to make it in tonight as he had scheduled, so that's okay. It happens to the best of us. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this evening, and we really appreciate it. We'll cut the stream there. I feel like I keep rambling, so apologies. But thanks again, Sham. As always, a double dose of Sham here, the AAA World Series. Appreciate you joining me this evening. And everybody out there, have yourselves a good rest of your night. Take care.
Bye, everyone.